Hi there, it's Dan here from Flexxable, and today we're going to talk about 3 fast and effective ways to cut your cost per lead in 2022. Let's dive in. All right, so we're coming up to midway point through 2022 already, and I'm going to talk about 3 things that you can do today and implement straight away to reduce your cost per lead without, worrying about kind of anything too major. Okay, I'm not going to ask you to go and create an epic video ad with a amazing intro, call to action and intermediate section. Don't worry about all that. This is stuff that you can do quickly and get fast results for. Right? So the first one I'm going to talk about is called the left to right strategy. And this is where you find a hole in your funnel that you can fix, which will immediately slash your cost per lead. The second one I'm going to talk about is a little bit different, right? So we've been able to sell a lot of leads in our time, and what we found is that there was some wastage leads that we couldn't sell, and we found a buyer for them, and I'll explain a little bit about that in a sec. And the third way, I'm going to talk to you about a really effective way that no one ever does to be able to come up with new hooks or angles into your market that really will get your ads humming and to the top of the algorithms, whether it be on Facebook, YouTube, or whatever. So let's get stuck in. The first kind of way that we're going to talk about reducing your cost per lead quickly and effectively is by doing what we call the left to right strategy, and we've done a whole video on that under micro conversions. There's a video you'll see up here which you'll be able to kind of click and watch if you want to find out more detail about it. But briefly, without going into too much detail, if you're running leads through your funnel, through a client's funnel, there's going to be a number of metrics that you can measure that are consistent all the way from left to right, okay? And what I mean by left is the click, and what I mean by right is a lead. And there's a number of different things that happen in between there depending on what your what your funnel looks like. So let's say it's a standard quiz funnel that we send to an unbounce page with a leads hook quiz in it that segments people and takes them to a results page, and then after they get their results they become a lead and they hit the thank you page. All right, so if we're looking at what the left to right kind of micro conversions are along that funnel, you'd be looking at click, you'd be looking at landing page view, you'd be looking at quiz start, you'd be looking at hitting the results page, then you'd be looking at hitting the thank you page. All right, so there's 5 kind of major micro conversions that you'd see throughout the funnel. And over time, when you've generated 5,000 clicks, that means you've maybe generated 4,000 landing page views and maybe 2,000 quiz starts. And as you can kind of get to understand your funnel and know what's working and what isn't working, you'll see that there'll be a hole somewhere. All right, you'll be able to collate all the stats over the last 30 days and you'll figure out there's a hole on the quiz start, or there's a hole on the kind of quiz to results page type metric. All right, so the fastest way to get quick results is not trying to fix everything at one time. You want to try and go in and identify where that hole is and then make some changes there, and then maybe let things run for 3 or 4 more days and then see if it makes a difference. And if it does and things are really picked up, then maybe focus on the next hole or leaky boat within that left to right strategy. Okay, all the way up the front end is the clicks. Your clicks could be costing too much. That's maybe where you want to start, because creative is always king, right? That's what I always say. So I'm starting to ramble a bit now, but if you can try and wrap your head around looking at the funnel from start to finish, left to right, finding what the hole is, and then fixing that hole, then you've got a really good chance of slashing your cost per lead. All right, so the next way to slash your cost per lead, and this is a little bit more of a hack, it doesn't actually slash your cost per lead, but it actually allows you to make more per lead. What we figured out over the years is that if you're running leads and you own a lead gen brand and you're delivering 100 leads to a client, what's normally going to happen is that there could be 20 or 30 of those leads that the client just doesn't want, that's just out of criteria, right? So for example, if it's in car finance, your client might just despise the leads that have got bad credit, okay? Or they might be a bad credit specialist company and they don't want to take the people that are homeowners, all right? If you're asking these questions throughout your funnel, then rather than kind of selling every lead to that client and and making a really, probably not getting an order again because they're not converting the leads at the rate they would like, what you can do is use some lead distribution software or segmentation to be able to sell a proportion of those leads that aren't a good fit for client A and sell them to client B. All right, it makes sense, but we made this mistake for quite a long time when we first got into pay per lead, and the clients were banging their head against the wall, and then all of a sudden they said, well, we've got our buddy down the road that's able to take these leads. Why don't you sell them to him? And we just won't work them. And all of a sudden we went from selling the leads for 50 bucks a lead and not getting great results to continue selling them for 50 bucks, but then selling the other ones for a better rate to another client. And that enabled us to keep the client happy with quality, land another client, and make more margin and sell more leads, and everyone was happy. So it's not exactly a slashing cost per lead type hack, but I thought I'd let you know about it because it's incredibly valuable if you do start thinking outside the box a little bit, okay? And the last cost per lead hack that I want to talk to you today about is, it's not exactly a hack actually, I'm telling a porky pie there, but it's a pretty obvious one that actually not many marketers do, and that is picking up the phone and speaking to your client. You can sit at a Facebook ads library and reverse engineer the ads all day long if you would like, and copy off what your competitors are doing, and probably get a similar crappy result if you're going to do that. But if you actually take the time to understand your market by picking up the phone and perhaps taking your client through an onboarding process and asking questions and figuring out what the angles and hooks are that they're hearing on the phone every day when they're closing people, is going to be super critical. And I'll give you a real life example of what that looked like. Okay, so we were running ads in the education space. So it was trying to sell nurses in America a qualification that could help them fast track university or whatever, or college, and enable them to get into the work environment much faster. All right, and we were running ads, coming up with what we thought would work. And I think it was around 30 bucks per lead. I think it was a YouTube ad, and it was doing okay, right? But it transpired that the leads were too expensive for the client, and they weren't that happy, and they wanted to chat, right? So we sat down, and we had a Zoom call with the client, and we found out via their sales team that the particular course that we were selling in our ads actually took 2 years, was equivalent to the first 2 years of a university degree. So if they took and it was about 10% of the price. So these people, these nurses, potential nurses coming in, could save 2 years off their university time and a crap load of money. And obviously that was a pretty amazing hook. Our ears pricked up when we heard that. We put it into our ad copy, and straight away the cost per lead went from $30 down to $6. All right, and this is the kind of stuff that happens when you really start understanding your market and using language and hooks and ideas that appeal to the people that you're advertising to. All right, and we would never have known that unless we spoke to the client. And even better than doing that is going in and seeing where these potential nurses are hanging out. There'll be forums, there'll be places, Facebook groups. They'll be talking about the best places to get their qualifications, what they want from it, what's good, what's bad, whether it's online or offline. All of these things are really going to come in handy when you're coming up with your own hooks. All right, so these are things that can really move the needle fast, these three things I was talking about. I hope you've enjoyed them today. So I hope you've really enjoyed this video today on how to slash your cost per lead with some hacks that are going to work quickly without too much effort. And if you've enjoyed this video, please give us a like so we know to create more videos like this. If you've got any questions or comments about what we're doing and need further clarification, please comment below. And also, of course, subscribe so you'll be the first to know when we create more content in the future. So thanks so much for watching this video through to the end. If you are a lead gen and you're sick of doing things the old way, by crappy retainer contracts and clients that ask too much of you, then I've actually got a game plan on how to escape the old way and move into performance-based pay-per-lead marketing. All you have to do is click the link below somewhere in this video and we'll send you that for free. It doesn't cost anything, it's really good stuff. Enjoy.